We are now joined by number 9 ranked UFC middleweight contender Edmen Shahbazyan. Our first question goes to Nolan King with MMA Junkie.
Your first UFC headlining fight. Talk to me about the emotions coming into this one. I'm sure you always thought you'd get here, but here you are.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm blessed for this opportunity. I'm ready for Saturday night. Something I dreamed about since I was a kid, and it's here. Now time to perform, you know.
For sure, man. And you've gotten here in a short period of time, only a handful of fights in the UFC, and you've already got your face on the poster. Where do you think you are? Are you ahead of your schedule where you expected to be, or is this kind of what you always envisioned?
Oh, for sure. With the way that I'm going, I believe this is like the right next step. And yeah, I'm gonna just continue to go how I'm going and keep rising.
And most main events are 5 rounds. This one's 3 because of the short notice. And Derek said earlier that was kind of a mutual agreement that your team and his team had coming. When the UFC discussed that it would be a main event. Is that accurate, or did you prefer that this was a 5-round fight?
I don't think that's accurate because they offered us 5. I was okay with 5, but I guess something happened with the other side. I was down for 5.
Gotcha. Yeah. And talk to me about this matchup a little bit. Derek Brunson's a guy that's been around for a while. He's had a few headliners in the past. He's been in the top 10 for quite some time. So can you break him down a little bit and what you expect to see out of him when you guys get in the cage?
Yeah, I know he's a veteran. He fought a lot of the guys in the division, the top guys. So if you look at ranking, he's number 8, I'm number 9. It's the perfect next matchup for me. I feel I match up really well against him. He mixes up his wrestling and his wild strikes and has recently shown a little bit of patience. So I'm happy to go in there and showcase my skills against him and get the victory.
And when Dana announced that this fight would be moving into the main event slot, he did so on Instagram Live with Ronda Rousey, who's I know been a big part of your career. Have you talked to her a lot leading into this fight? Maybe she gives you some advice now that you're on the poster and everything.
I talk to her here and there. I don't talk to her on a day-to-day basis or anything like that, but yeah, I talk to her.
And what kind of did she offer up any advice for this specific fight, or just kind of just general career advice, or
just always general career advice, always positive advice she gives, always good tips and just positive vibes and advice.
Cool. Appreciate the time, Edmen. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Next question is from Fabricio Sosa with Clarín.
Hi, Edmen. Hi. First, sorry for my bad English.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. Being you undefeated, is that extra pressure for you?
Can you say it again?
If you being undefeated, is that extra pressure for you?
Oh, is that extra? No. It's not extra pressure for me. Even if it is, I like pressure and I thrive under pressure.
Okay, you say you want to become the youngest champion in UFC history. What steps do you take to make this happen?
I believe the way I'm going right now, that'll happen soon, for sure.
Okay, who are your reference fighters?
My favorite fighters?
Your reference, yes, your favorites.
Oh, my favorite. I have a lot of favorite fighters. It's usually people who are like humble, who present themselves in a good way, and like someone like probably like George St. Pierre. I like he's one of the best.
Yes. And which fighters above you in the ranking of UFC do you think is the most dangerous?
I don't know. We just have to fight and see. Well, I'm ready for anybody in the top 10. I'm of course not overlooking my next opponent, but I have the mentality that I'm the best and I believe in myself a lot. So anybody in the top 10.
Okay, you're trained from a very young age. What was the hardest thing for you to learn in MMA?
There wasn't really any hard thing. It was just a matter of getting experience in each thing. You know, growing up, I competed in all the sports leading up to MMA. And yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
Okay, the last. What do you know about Argentina and Latin America? Fighters and
Can you say, what do I know about them?
I know about the fighters of Argentina, Latin America, and all this place. What you
Yes.
know?
I know there was a couple of I've watched a couple of Argentinian. There's been good boxers. I can't remember the name of. There's this one good Argentinian boxer who used to box. I watched. They have good athletes.
Chino Maidana.
Chino Maidana, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, Chino Maidana.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Next question is from Sumik Dara with Sportskeeda.
Edmen, hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
So first thing I wanted to ask was, this will be your first main event. Do you feel that adds an extra bit of pressure on you, or like what's the feeling like?
No pressure for me. You know, I treat it like any other fight. I go into each fight treating it like a gold medal match, so it's the same as any.
Right. Recently we saw training clips of you with Ronda Rousey, when you were 15 years old. Could you tell us a bit more, like how your experience with her was like when you were training together?
Yeah, I actually used to be like her sparring partner when I was even younger than that clip. I grew up watching her and grew up seeing her rise to fame and all that. And yeah, I have a good relationship with her. She currently manages me with Coach Edmond, and yeah, she's always been. I'm happy to have her be a part of my team too.
So last question. So the original main event for this weekend was Holly Holm versus Irene Aldana, but that fight got cancelled, and then you guys were promoted to the main event slot. Did that somehow cause any changes, significant changes for you?
No, if anything, it added an extra bit of motivation for me because we're the headliner now. So I'm excited, and I wanna. It puts me into a better position to showcase a good performance.
Thank you so much, and good luck for the fight.
Thank you, thank you.
Next question is from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Edmund, when we talked a couple weeks ago, you told me about becoming the youngest champion in UFC history, and now this kind of falls into your lap of being in the main event. Did you kind of enjoy the fact that it worked out this way, because a high-profile win here obviously puts you in a position for an even bigger fight next time?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Being bumped up to main event definitely puts with the victory puts the win into a better position.
You mentioned that you wanted, or you were open to, a 5-round fight, and I'm not asking you to get into Derek Brunson's head as far as why that didn't happen, but is there any disappointment that you aren't getting a 5-round fight, or in your head are you thinking, I'm not even going to let it go to the 3rd round?
You guys got to see Saturday. But I was open to a 5-round fight because it's the best shape I've been in mentally and physically.
A lot, in terms of the matchup of this one, Derek's a well-rounded guy, but I don't think it's any giant secret that he comes from a wrestling background. Now, everyone knows you for a lot of knockouts, but you come from a camp, of course, famous for judo. Would you welcome that aspect of the fight if he wants to match his wrestling against your judo?
Not necessarily I didn't do judo, but I wrestled in high school too. So, and I wrestled as a young kid growing up in grappling competitions and all that. So, if he wants to test it, let him test it, but it won't be good for him.
And coming from the Contender Series, right away you had a lot of attention on you. Of course, being the grappling partner for Ronda back when she fought Liz Carmouche already kind of put you in the spotlight. But do you feel like everything you've gone through has kind of made you ready for this position, this moment? Only 4 fights into your UFC career, and people are talking about you as being a future champion.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Growing up watching that and getting a glimpse of that, I saw the glimpse of my future watching that. So definitely prepared me for a moment like this.
And last question, I know it doesn't play into the fight or the outcome or anything, but you are a pretty heavy favorite going into this fight over a veteran, a very good fighter, Derek Brunson. Do you appreciate that people are, so looking forward to your fight and looking forward to seeing what you do in the future, and they believe that you are the favorite in this fight? I know you don't pay attention to the odds, but do you appreciate that the people have kind of put that on you?
Yeah, maybe they know what's up. So That's fine.
Thanks, Edmen.
Thank you.
Next question is from Gabriel Gonzalez with Kate Cypress.
Hey, Edmen, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. Since the beginning, a big narrative of your career is that your success is that redemption for Edmen, your coach, and for the losses to Ronda. Is that fair? I mean, is that a story you like being told when we talk about you, or do you wish that we focused on other parts of your career and your own rise?
I mean, it doesn't matter for me. You know, some people could talk about that. Some people could talk about something else. It really doesn't matter for me. You know, I'm here to be me, be the best that I can be, and focus on my goal.
Talking about you, when were you first introduced to martial arts?
I was introduced to martial arts at 10 years old.
Was that through Edmund? Like, how did you meet up with him? Because I know you've been with him since you were a kid.
Yeah, my brother and my dad actually, we had a friend who trained at Edmen's gym, and my dad knew my friend's dad as well. They were friends. So, and then I was also like a fat kid, so I was going to lose weight, and then they talked together and made us join the karate program there, and the rest was history.
You talked about that, and Rhonda's mentioned it. You know, being younger, you were little Ed. Was there a point where you finally became, hey, Edmen Shahbazyan, the golden boy in the gym, or do they still have that little brother mentality with you?
No, I'm still little Ed because Coach Edmen is the older Ed, so everybody calls me little Ed still, even though I'm big.
You have guys, you know, Israel Adesanya is on Joe Rogan's popular podcast talking about you. You've got a lot of guys, the big names mentioning you. What does that mean to a young guy in his career in the UFC like yourself?
It's cool, you know, to have the champion talk about you too. That means, you know, they see the potential that I have as well, that I know I have, and yeah, it's awesome, man. I'm blessed.
My final question, Derek Brunson is a guy, he's fought just about everybody over the last decade in the middleweight division. Some wins, some losses. When you look at him, like, do you see like, hey, this is a guy who's vulnerable, or is it, you know what, this guy has been in there with the best. He's the most dangerous guy.
Yeah, to any opponent, you know, I plan on going in there with them being at their 100%. So I'm prepared for the best version of Derek Brunson.
Thanks, Edmen.
Thank you.
Next question is from Andrei Kachaturian with New England Sports Network.
Edmen, what's going on?
What's up? What's up?
So you're coming into this fight, and obviously, being an Armenian as you are, you're very well aware of what's going on overseas in Armenia with their conflict with Azerbaijan. You posted about it on your Instagram. If one of us goes to war, we all go to war. As an Armenian, what does it mean to you be fighting this week, knowing what's been going on overseas?
Oh, it means a lot, you know. I'm happy to always represent Armenia, and especially headlining an event and getting the good victory on Saturday night would mean a lot and give a lot of positivity to Armenia and give hope.
And not a lot of people know the history about what's going on with Armenia and the injustice that's been going on there for centuries. How important do you think your platform as a rising UFC star helps spread knowledge and awareness?
I think it's very important because we don't have as many big Armenian influencers in the world, and for me to be one of them and to showcase all that, it's incredible and it's a big deal.
All right, thank you very much, Edmen. Best of luck.
Thank you, Hajo.
Next question is from Stephen Morocco with Fox Media.
Hey, Edmen, you said a little bit earlier that you like champions that are humble and represent themselves in a good way.
Yeah.
Does Israel Adesanya live up to that standard?
I mean, I think he's a good, skilled fighter. He's a good champion. Yeah, it's even though he has like his style of talking and stuff, but he's a good fighter all in all.
So hypothetically, if you could choose, like I get to fight either him or Paulo Costa, who would you prefer and why?
Both of them. I wanna be the best in the world, so I gotta beat everybody.
Is there somebody that's more appealing to you though, in terms of their style, in terms of who they are as a fighter, what they represent?
No, not really. You know, well, doesn't matter for me. I'll fight anybody.
And if you were the next guy, do you think you'll be fighting Israel Adesanya or Costa next? Like, who do you think is going to win that fight?
That fight, I think Adesanya is gonna win. I think he's gonna catch Costa coming in, and yeah, in the near future, of course, my full focus is on Saturday against Brunson, but in the near future, I would love to face Adesanya.
You think that'd be a tougher challenge?
Tougher challenge than who? Than Costa?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different styles, and styles make fights.
Gotcha. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, Edmen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.